It's good to be in Vancouver. I landed about 4 or 5 hours ago. I was in Seoul, Korea. I was there for about nearly a month, and also in Tokyo. There were some really big blockchain conferences there. So today I'm going to be talking about CryptoKitties or Dapper Labs. Who here has heard of CryptoKitties? Raise your hands. Okay, a lot. Must be Daily Hive spreading the word here. So CryptoKitties, for the people who don't know, it's the world's first blockchain game. The best way to think about it is like Tamagotchi or Neopets, where you have these breedable cats that you could adopt, and they have genetics just like humans. So just like how you have blonde hair, blue eyes, or black hair, etc., and when your parents kind of breed together, you create you, right? And you have a mixture of the genetics of your mom and your dad. We have a very complex genetic system that goes into the billions of breeding combinations. So I have an abridged version of this presentation. Normally I've been doing this talk in Tokyo and Seoul for, it's usually 30 minutes, so I try to sum it up as quick as I can. 2018 has been a very interesting year for us. We've learned a lot of lessons, especially we have one foot in the blockchain space, and then we have one foot in the gaming space, and then we're kind of in the tech space. So we go to all three types of conferences and meet a lot of entrepreneurs. The first things first is that we completed our Series A round for Dapper Labs, which is our company that owns CryptoKitties. We have some amazing investors all around the world. The most notable one is Andreessen Horowitz, Union Square Ventures, Rock, Samsung, Google Ventures, etc. We just completed and announced $27.5 million for Series A. We have a world-class team. We have team members that we've hired from some of the top tech companies, top entertainment companies, top gaming companies. All here, actually, 98%, 99%, they're here in Vancouver by Nelson and Howe. That's where our office is. We're super diverse too, so we come from a total of 20 countries. We speak over 23 languages in total, so you can tell that of the small amount of us, we are extremely diverse. And I've been spending a lot of my time kind of championing the expansion of CryptoKitties and Dapper Labs into Asia. I've been traveling to all over these different countries this year doing a lot of talks. Those are some photos of blockchain plus gaming communities all around the world. They're growing really, really fast. This is a new shift. If you think about it, it's kind of like the new invention of the iPhone, where mobile gaming and social gaming with Zynga and Farmville began a whole entire industry of social gaming or mobile gaming. And from the gaming perspective, we're talking about a new platform shift that includes blockchain. And there's a lot, this probably could go into hours of me explaining how blockchain and gaming will work. It's a very interesting topic. And so it's nearly been a year. If you look at the date there, November 17th, it's actually past a year since we wrote the first article saying that why we're not doing ICO. Last year in 2017, there was a lot of hype in this industry, in the blockchain industry, of people doing ICOs, where essentially it's an IPO where you raise funds for your company, but in this sense, it's kind of the reverse. You raise money before you actually build something. And a lot of people kind of took advantage of it. And for us, coming from a reputable company, Axiom, we're a venture studio. So we've worked with Fortune 500 companies to build startups together. We build world-winning products internally. And we have 2 successful startups. One's called ZenHub, and the other one's called Relatific. Both are profitable and doing great here, and all in Vancouver. So we decided, hey, we're not going to do an ICO, we're going to launch this game, and we're going to prove that you could actually ship something in this blockchain space. The other thing that we've been driving home, this is actually a chart from one of our investors, Union Square Ventures. It's a big point that we've been making for the entire year, is that people's needs will drive adoption. We have a lot of people building protocols or blockchain, right? You may have heard, like, I want to build a blockchain for anime, or there's private blockchains for supply chain or fishery. There's so many blockchains all over the place. But what we're trying to say is that, people built airplanes before they built the airports, and people built the cars before they built the roads. It works in combination. And for us, we built the world's first blockchain game, and now we're kind of looking at it in the sense that what is it that people really need? Is it sending a message? For example, if you look at 1970s, it's a way for you to communicate with your family and friends. That was the need that people had. And that's kind of the question that we ask ourselves day to day, is that it's much more than just a Tamagotchi or a Neopets. What is the true value of a blockchain game? And we've also dived into 3 core problems of blockchain games. You'll probably come into it if you start to explore this space a lot. One is there's a big problem with user experience. So unlike any apps that exist in the tech ecosystem, where you download the app, and you install it, and you do Facebook login, it's super smooth, in the blockchain world, there's this concept of being decentralized, meaning you control your money, your bitcoins, your ether, etc. What that introduces in the scale of things is a tremendous problem for new users coming in. So for everyone in here that doesn't have a CryptoKitty or is curious of how the blockchain works, the best way to learn is to buy a kitty. There are kitties that range from $1 USD all the way to the most expensive cat we've sold is $140,000 USD. So there is definitely a huge scale of kitties out there, but the best way to actually learn how the blockchain works is to buy one. The second problem is distribution. So blockchain games are so new that Apple, Amazon, Google, we've been speaking with the head of the app stores, the directors, the VPs, and they're trying to wrap their heads around it. They're learning really fast, and they do definitely want to collaborate. They want to be on the edge of this technology, but even the highest ranks in these large tech companies in Silicon Valley are still trying to understand, what is blockchain game? How does it work? What is CryptoKitties? And we tell them the same thing, buy a CryptoKitty and you'll learn how the blockchain will work. We have the best user experience to date, and it's the best way to really interact with the blockchain. The third problem is scalability. This is the reason why CryptoKitties is very famous and got us covered by Wall Street Journal, The New Yorker, etc., all of the publications around the world. Essentially, what had happened, and there's this network, just like the internet, called the Etherium Network or Ethereum blockchain. And so many people all around the world at one point in December wanted to buy a CryptoKitty. It's kind of like the Elmo craze. And it basically flooded the entire network, and it actually stopped 2 or 3 ICOs from happening, and it made news headlines all over the world, and it was a phenomenon, and we never expected us, like a team of 5 in the beginning, to build a blockchain game that involved kitty and breeding and is super cute to explode in popularity. So what is 2019? I've been thinking about 2 main points. What will be the main value for users beyond just talking about, oh, buy kitties, etc. The first thing is tokens will be responsible for creating millions of jobs in the future. It's unfortunate I don't have time to really dive into it. I have a really interesting graphs and explanation of how this will come to fruition. So maybe next year in January, February, or March, I'll come back to Tech Vancouver and we can kind of sit down together and have a longer chat about what this means when people own CryptoKitties or tokens, etc. The second point is tokens will make making friends easier. I think that we all come to events to meet new people, to see people that we already met in the community, and to develop relationships. At the end of the day, we're all humans, and we all have the same operating system. We all have the same behaviors, emotions, and biases. And the thing that we've been thinking a lot is how will blockchain technologies really enable humans to connect better in a deeper way. So, really interesting topic. I will be flying back to Calgary this Sunday, and on the 19th I'll be doing a 30-40 minute talk going deeper into this topic. So that basically ends it for my talk. Happy to take some questions. I have 8 CryptoKitties exclusive pins, so if you ask a great question, we will give you an exclusive pin. So thank you so much for coming, and we're always happy here to speak in our hometown here in Vancouver.
Great talk. I would like to ask you a question about scaling. Ethereum has scaling issues. Do you foresee any issues with it related to CryptoKitties?
Yeah, this is like the #1 question we get asked all the time. Up until now, I mean, we've been following the Ethereum Foundation very closely. We've been working really closely with some of their projects that have received grants and trying to build out sharding and plasma, all these types of implementation. For us, we're really focused on creating content where it blends kind of the crypto side with something that's creative and fun. So a lot of the efforts around scalability, we've been focused on paying attention to what the Ethereum Foundation is doing and joining some of their scaling calls where Vitalik is also on the call. That's kind of the best way for us to have a really good relationship with them at this point.
I'm curious, maybe I'm not unusual in the room. CryptoKitties, I mean, it seems like an educational vehicle to teach people about blockchain, but is that really why you did it? What was ultimately the intent?
So for the last 6 years, we've been building B2B enterprise SaaS businesses, and Axiom, our parent company, we've kind of been in the forefront of exploring new technologies. When Google Glasses came out, we bought a bunch of them and had the interns hack it. Same with the Snapchat spectacles. We have a small AI machine learning team, and we've also acquired an AR/VR studio called Hammer and Tusk that is created by Mac Flavel, who's based here in Vancouver. So for Axiom Zen, we were very, very curious about blockchain technologies in 2017. And the 5 of us, it was a small team, decided to, what is the best way to learn? Well, let's build something, let's ship something, and let's ship something that people can use. And CryptoKitties was kind of a combination of kind of like a joke of, hey, cats kind of own the internet, why can't they own the blockchain? Some of the top tech companies have cats as mascots. Why can't we kind of make the blockchain more accessible, more fun, and more playable? And so those were the kind of intentions of us learning Solidity and smart contract, and then working on CryptoKitties as an MVP. And then we launched it at a hackathon. We never expected it to grow to what it is now, but to date there's about, I think, $25 million of market transaction volume that has been through the marketplace of CryptoKitties.
Hey, it's here, Benny. Really enjoy. Really enjoy the web. So you have been traveling to lots of places over the world. Where do you see Canada like pushing the blockchain game right now, and what kind of suggestion do you have for us in Vancouver?
That's like an hour. I think that's like a 3-hour question. It's very interesting what's happening around the world. In Canada, I think that there's pockets of interesting projects. In Toronto, it seems like there's more than in Vancouver, purely because there are Consensus and L4 and a couple of other crypto funds that are based there in Toronto. Some people who know, like the creator of Ethereum, Vitalik, he went to University of Waterloo and then he dropped out. So there is a strong community there. But I think that it's a very interesting, like, we should chat more if you're curious about what's happening in China or what's happening here in Canada. To be honest, we're really focused mostly on the US, because that's where most of our players are, and there's a lot more kind of interesting protocol level, but also Dapper level projects happening. And for those who asked the question, don't forget to come down, I'll give you a pin after, yeah.
Okay, we'll do one last question and then you guys can talk to Benny after.
Hi, thank you so much for your talk. I have a quick question about how Ethereum was developed on IBM Hyperledger Fabric. Has CryptoKitties ever considered developing their own Hyperledger Fabric?
Yeah, Ethereum is not developed on IBM Hyperledger or Fabric, yeah. IBM created their own private blockchain called Hyperledger. I met one of the co-founders in Seoul when we were speaking at the conference. Ethereum is created by a bunch of people. If you look at the founding team, it's like 12 or something. Vitalik is the one that is more of the poster child, but he also now, day to day, doing a lot of running the project. So Ethereum is a public blockchain, and it's quite different from a private blockchain. There are big companies like IBM, Microsoft, SAP, or etc., who are testing out blockchain by building something on a private blockchain. In some ways, it's kind of like running a database like AWS or Google Cloud, but they're kind of trying to disperse it to other companies to hold the node. But an open blockchain is completely different, where in Ethereum, the network, there's about 15,000 computers all around the world that are in charge of making sure all of the transactions are correct and no one's cheating. So 15,000 computers all around the world versus like a large company that has 4 supercomputers who are making sure that no one's cheating is a very big difference. It's kind of, if you look at Bitcoin, that is the first digital currency, that is an open blockchain, and there are thousands of computers who are running the mining operations.
Okay, awesome. Thanks.
Thank you. For those who asked the question, I'm going to leave the pins here, so make sure you come down and get it. Thank you.